All right, we're jumping into Colossians 2:18 today, and here it says, "Let no one disqualify you, insisting on asceticism and worship of angels, going on in detail about visions, puffed up without reason by his sensuous mind." Again, we've been looking at how we're not to let people pass judgment on us, not trying to control them, but giving them no reason to judge. And then it's really talking. You'll see in the weeks ahead as we go through this that this is all about a real relationship with Christ. That the substance is Christ. So, I forgot about this key. So hopefully that'll help you out there. All right. But let no one disqualify you. This is one of those things that we are easily persuaded by what sounds religious, what sounds good. So we get disqualified in the sense of it throws us off. It can hamper our relationship. It can send us into a tailspin of various sorts to various degrees. So we're to watch out for the false teachings of things that sound really good, like insisting on asceticism, which I kind of laugh. In some ways, that's a word that people don't really use much anymore. But that's kind of like that false humility. It's that outward show of humility rather than a reality of being humble. It's looking humble. It's acting humble. It's pretending to be humble, as if that's really the point, when it's like, no, you actually should be humble. I mean, we are people of humble circumstances. We just don't know it. When we come to see Christ, we're actually humbled and moved with gratitude, like that woman who came washing his feet with tears in her hair. That's true humility, because she was moved by her sin and humility in her sin to seek Christ's mercy. That's true humility, whereas asceticism is this attempt at humility to look like it, whether it's to dress in certain ways or to just have a somber look to your face. It's a weird kind of mindset. But then this worship of angels, another false doctrine where we worship angels as if Christ were an angel, or angels are like saviors or things like that. This concept of even like having past people who've died become angels, and then we pray to them as if they're saints or something like that. This worship of something other than Christ is kind of it's scary, and going on in detail about visions. Puffed up without reason by his sensuous mind. So this is a false teacher. I mean, the worship of angels. I mean, Paul even warns us about that in Galatians. I think what is it? Galatians 1, where I can't let that go. I got to look it up. Galatians 1, where he says in verse 8. That if we or even an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one we preach to you, let him be eternally condemned. It's Christ is the only one. In Colossians, that's what Colossians is pointing out, is Christ is the supreme. Christ is the focus. And so we have to be careful not to be drawn away from Christ, as we even saw earlier in up in verse 8 there, where it's let no one take you captive by philosophy and empty deceit. Again, it'll come in the guise of a lamb, a sheep, false, what is that? That's Matthew 7, 13-ish and on. False teachers, they come in sheep's clothing. What is it? I can't remember if it's 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians. It's 2 Corinthians, where he talks about, chapter 11, verse 13 to 15, where it's, masquerading as angel of light. This whole idea of something other than Christ can draw us away so easily, so quickly, because it sounds good, it looks good, it sounds religious and mystical and amazing. But it's, as it goes on to say, not holding fast to the head, that is Christ, as it said earlier in this passage. But that's where we have to keep our heart not from being drawn away after other gods, other ideas, other relationships, or a replacement of relationship with just actions and ritual, but rather a real relationship with Christ. And we'll get into that in verse 19 as we continue on next week. So, all right, God bless you guys.